What's good, y'all? We're going to cut that short, man. Y'all already know what it is. Your boy do not know how to act. I got some homies out here that told me, Eagles fans, of course, that told me that they can't wait for this game, especially since the championship game, because it's 2 weeks. They can't wait. Listen, I can't even agree with that, because this is the time where for a whole 2 weeks, everybody got to wait. Everybody's stuff got to wait until your team play, until you say move, until you kick it off, or until you receive it. So for me, this is football heaven right now, because I don't know how long it's going to last. Sunday come up, we win, or we definitely in football heaven all the way until next season. But if the Eagles lose, then I'm going to miss this time right here, where I get to speculate whether or not we're going to win or not. And we're going to get to that, because I feel like Eagles got a real good chance right here. I feel like we the team with the chip on the shoulder. I feel like the Eagles, we the team with revenge on our mind. I feel like we the team, for real, that's really trying to make history. Now, the narratives you're going to hear out there is about the Kansas City Chiefs and how they're going to be, the first team to three-peat, possibly, about how the Chiefs, Patrick Mahommes can do something no one else has ever done and all that. And for real, I don't care about that, man. Because I don't feel like it is going to happen. And we're going to get into that. We got a couple of guests that's going to come on, and we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to drop the link when the time comes for all of y'all to come in and speak. But I'm going to give my spiel real quick. Real quick, though, I'm going to go to my man Jared, because Jared come through all the time. Appreciate my man Jared. I see Fernandez T there. That's another man been like, I ain't going to say it, almost like a day one. We're talking about for years. You see what I'm saying? So we got to see what they got to talk about, you fellas right here. So Jared says a lot of nasty narratives going around about Jalen Hurts. Oh, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about that today, man. I hope it fill up a little bit in here. We definitely going to talk about that, man. My man Jay Capone, the Don. My man Jay Capone, the Don. Yo, brother Filet, go Eagles as a Bears fan. Okay. So as a Bears fan, you must be tired of the Chiefs too, huh? Was you happy you happy we knocked them Packers off, ain't you? That's really what it is. You happy we knocked them Packers off. Fernandez T. Because if it's one group of people that hates like a team like the Eagles hate the Cowboys, that's the Packers in Green Bay hating Chicago. I got a homie from Chicago, right? I got a homie from Chicago. This dude actually made a prayer to God that a hurricane would just sweep Green Bay off the map. Like, he was dead serious. You know what I mean? So that's like some stuff that like we could probably relate to around here. Even though I ain't never done that. I ain't never made no prayer against the city of Dallas. Like, this boy prayed the guy was such a hurricane to wipe Green Bay off the map. That's how much he hates the Packers. That's wild. That's wild. So my man Fernandez, what you got? They going to ref ball. They going to ref ball it, man. I hope Eagles beat them. Listen, man, I ain't worried about no refs. We're going to talk about that too, man. We're going to talk about that too, but I'm going to explain why that shit ain't going to matter, man. Good afternoon, Braden. Jared. The key for Philadelphia will be to, I think, keep a spy on Mahommes or let him have free reign. We're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about all that. Don't even worry about it. We're going to talk about all that. We're going to knock them down each one by one. All right. Yeah, that is wicked, right? That is wicked, right? All right, so my guest ain't calling yet. I don't know what's going on, man. But we could do this. All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk about before I get specifically into the Super Bowl was this year's Hall of Fame 2025 class, man. And the reason is there's two special players that made it into the Hall of Fame that it was way long overdue, man. Way long overdue. And the first one I'm going to talk about, man, is for a lot of you younger brothers, I don't know if you're familiar with the great Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp, for those who don't know, is the older brother of Hall of Fame and Hall of Fame, I guess, podcaster Shannon Sharp. You know, Sterling Sharp, man, was a player that only played with us for 7 years. And this was the reason why, this literally is the only reason why he wouldn't make the Hall of Fame. They looked at 7 years, and I guess they figured, that wasn't enough. Time, man, and stuff like that. But we got to keep it real. Sterling Sharp, for those who watched football in the early 90s, man, he came into the league. Actually, in 88, he came into the league. And this dude, in his first 7 years, had one of the most prolific years, like careers that anybody would see. He was a Triple Crown winner more than once. Triple Crown, for those who don't know, is that you lead all wide receivers in catches, yards, and touchdowns. This dude was a Triple Crown winner more than once. In a league where people wasn't really like it wasn't that popular to catch 100 catches unless you were like Jerry Rice, more so. This dude was catching 100 pretty much every year. He caught 90 in 89. And this joint was a crazy story because Sterling Sharp was in the same draft as Michael Irvin in 1988. Everybody know Michael Irvin went to the Cowboys. He had his Hall of Fame career. Michael Irvin, of course, known for being on those Dallas Cowboys teams that won 3 Super Bowls. And dang, y'all, I gotta hold on real quick, man. I got somebody. It's cheesy. I got somebody at the door. I'll be right back. Dang. Wow, man. My fault, y'all. Sheesh kabibbles. Sheesh kabibbles. A couple of y'all stayed, man. Y'all some real ones. Sterling Sharp was drafted in 1988 with, and Michael Irvin was in the same draft. Now, what had happened was the media in Green Bay, a lot like the media in Philadelphia, they was bugging. And what they said is that he was a bad draft pick for them to pick, and that Michael Irvin was the better pick because Michael Irvin just caught a little bit more yards. But if you look at his first season, he's 55 catches, 791 yards. At the time, I believe his quarterback was Don Majkowski, who was there before Brett Favre. So, I mean, it wasn't even a bad rookie season, but this is what the media do. They will talk their little trash. So Sterling Sharp did something which was unpopular back then. He just stopped doing interviews with the media, told them jokers, listen, how much it costs? How much do it cost for all the fines and all that for me to not talk to y'all? Boom, and just paid the fines every year after that. He took that joint to heart because later the next year, the media was all on his meat. Talking, oh my God, he's one of the best receivers we've ever seen in Green Bay, and he might be the best receiver in the league and all of that. This is what they started saying about Sterling Sharp after that. And he still, refused to talk to them. But at any rate, Sterling Sharp really had one of the most prolific careers you ever seen for the first 7 years, but then he got hurt. He got hurt like in a devastating hit, and that ended his career. Broke his neck, like part of his spine. And I'm glad, man, that the NFL did the right thing, Hall of Fame did the right thing, and they put Sterling Sharp in the Hall of Fame, and it was long overdue because Sterling Sharp, anybody who knows and followed the Sharp brothers, Sterling Sharp was way better than Shannon Sharp. Now, one's a wide receiver, the other's a tight end, and Shannon Sharp, in my opinion, is probably, he's a top 3 tight end all time. My top is like Kellen Winslow Sr., probably Gronk, I guess. And then for me, it's Shannon Sharp. I don't put Kelsey over Sharp yet. He could pass him, but not right now. But Sterling Sharp was always better than Shannon, and Shannon used to try to compete with him, catches and all of that. And I'm happy. Basically, I'm saying I'm happy that the NFL and the Hall of Fame committee just did the right thing. And they went ahead, man, and put Sterling Sharp in. It's long overdue. And I believe a big part of the reason why he hasn't been in isn't really about just him only having 7 years worth of work, but it was also because he wasn't talking to the media. Because, I don't know what y'all know about how this works, but ultimately, like MVP, Hall of Fame, Player of the Year, all these types of things are voted on by the media. It's not voted on by players. It isn't voted on by coaches. It's voted on by media. And media oftentimes are picking the person who head up and led the storylines all season, which is why, like, when we talk about Saquon Barkley should have been MVP this year. For real. Because I get it, Lamar had a hell of a season. I get it, Josh had a hell of a season. I don't have a problem with Josh being picked. Josh had a hell of a season. But if you look at the headlines every week and what they were talking about, I believe Saquon Barkley kind of stole the headlines because we'll get to that when we start talking about the Eagles, okay? But I want to talk about, man, the big up for Sterling Sharp. Congratulations. He was one of my favorite wide receivers to watch back when Madden first came out. The early Madden, back in the day, when they ain't had the names on the joint, but you knew who they were. They just was the numbers. All you had to do was throw that shit up to Sterling Sharp. He caught it all the time. He was the sickest receiver back then. All right. Another player that made the Hall of Fame, Jared Allen. Defensive end for the Minnesota Vikings. Another good solid pick. Over 100 sacks for his career. Didn't have a Super Bowl ring or anything like that, but very, very, very good wide receiver. Defensive end. I'm tripping for the Minnesota Vikings. No problem with that. Antonio Gates also made the Hall of Fame. Good selection as well. He's one of the greatest tight ends all time for sure. I would say top 10 for sure. I have no problem with that. He was Phillip Rivers' favorite target for a number of years. Shout out, man, to him. Antonio Gates, congratulations for being inducted in the 2025 Hall of Fame class. But the guy I really want to talk about, the dude that really, 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 man, it touched my heart, was for the great Eric Allen to finally make it, man. That Eric Allen is really the guy, along with Mike Haynes before him, that inspired me to want to play the cornerback position. For most people, it was Deion Sanders. It was not Deion Sanders for me. It was number 21. The real number 21 for me as an Eagles fan was Eric Allen. Eric Allen was that left cornerback for the best Eagles defenses we had seen up to that point, man. We're talking about those gangrene defenses of the 90s, right? Eric Allen, boy, he was a solid stalwart over there. And the guys he had to stick in his time, the Jerry Rices, the Tim Browns, a lot of y'all know Rob Carpenter. Like a lot of these guys, man, a lot of y'all probably don't know who played for the Cardinals. He had to stick Art Monk, all these guys with, top wide receivers at the time. Eric Allen was one of those guys, man, that was you could just put him on there and you ain't nothing to worry about, man. And this is what Charles Woodson, who had got in way before Eric Allen, which, I don't have a problem with. Wood got a Super Bowl ring. Wood got a Defensive Player of the Year. And this is what he said about Eric Allen. This is what I'm going to say real quick, because I see some of y'all real impatient and don't like history and all that bullshit. That's fine. But this is all I'm got to say, because I got to give homage to any Eagle that makes it to the Hall of Fame. And what I like about it, remember, Brian Dawkins was inducted into the Hall of Fame the last time we won a Super Bowl. So now we got Eric Allen being voted in this time. And I like that. I just like the way all that's shaping up. But Charles Woodson, is what he said about the great Eric Allen. He said, in my third year in Oakland, Eric intercepted 6 passes. 3 of them were pick sixes. He was 35 years old. Let me say that again, man. This is what Charles Woodson says. It's my 3rd year in Oakland. Eric intercepted 6 passes, 3 were pick sixes, and he was 35. At that age, you might not have the speed or the natural skills that you had when you were 23 and 24 years old. But the great players gain knowledge and experience over the years and use that to their advantage later in their careers. Eric was a student of the game. For him to make those kinds of plays in his mid-30s, that shows you what a Hall of Famer looks like. So congratulations, man, to Eric Allen for being inducted into the 2025 Hall of Fame class. And I got one of my brothers coming through, Solo M. We're still waiting for some of our other guests to come through. But if you there, bro, what you got to say about this Hall of Fame 2025 class? You know, in particular, Eric Allen, Sterling Sharp. Like, if you got any memories of any of these guys, man, you know, what you think? Or do you think they shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame? Talk to me.
Maybe the ones that's going there.
You on the air, bro?
You hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Maybe these ones that's going there. So I can just remind me.
Antonio Gates, right?
Yeah.
Tight end from Chargers. Jared Allen, defensive end, Minnesota Vikings. Eric Allen, well, I haven't mentioned him last. Sterling Sharp and Eric Allen. What you think of that class?
So they finally put Sterling Sharp in the Hall of Fame. That is a beautiful thing.
Yep.
It really is. I believe he's the last receiver to win the Triple Crown. Right?
Absolutely. I think Antonio Brown may have, if I'm not mistaken. But we know Sterling Sharp did it a couple times, more than once.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys that should have been there. You know, because he's one of those guys that was actually a competitor for Deion Sanders. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
he
yeah.
was rival of Jay Wright. So he was not no regular guy. No, he was not no regular guy, and he should have been in the Hall of Fame. I remember a play where he caught the touchdown in the snow, and didn't know where the end zone was, and dropped the ball before he even got to the end zone. This guy was amazing. He was amazing. You know,
absolutely.
And who knows what he would accomplish if he still would have had him. Now imagine he's a Hall of Fame without him. But when Brett Favre had this guy, man, just imagine what they could have did together. 2 Hall of Famers.
Absolutely.
If I'm not mistaken, Brett Favre had Hall of Fame receivers. I would say Andre Rison had him for a year or 2.
Yeah, I don't think Rison made the Hall of Fame, but he was Hall of Fame talent. He was a 100 catch ball, a year guy.
Yeah. I don't even know Mark Shimura gonna make the Hall of Fame, but or Keith Jackson, but they was Hall of Fame talent. You know what I mean? But this guy, he was one of the best receivers. He was top 5 ever if he would have retired without injury. Easily.
Shannon Sharp said it famously, during his Hall of Fame speech. He said, I'm here, but I'm not even the best player in my family. You know what I mean? So, and that's the truth.
The fact that a family can produce him and Shannon Sharp in the same family lineage is unbelievable.
Facts.
That's unbelievable. But then you got Antonio Gates, who's one of my favorite tight ends. You know what I mean? Because he was just unguardable at one point. Antonio Gates, like, people forgot about him, but when he played for the Chargers, he was unguardable. I mean, he was one of them tight ends that you like. I wish the Eagles had a brother like him, because he was big, fast, catches everything.
Facts.
And what can you say about Eric Allen? The fact that he should have been in. See, these players, I wonder what's going on. Maybe somebody said something that these Hall of Famers finally going into the Hall of Fame, because they should have been in the Hall of Fame. Because Eric Allen was the first ballot Hall of Fame to me. But I don't know what it's about. Some people say that you have to win the Super Bowl and that'll guarantee you a spot. And if you don't win the Super Bowl, then you probably have to wait for some years. Maybe that's the formula or whatever.
Hey, man, Deion Sanders, Rod Woodson, both of them spoke up on behalf of Eric Allen. You know, Deion was upset when some other guys made it before him, like Champ Bailey, dudes like that. It was like, you know what I mean? He ain't say nothing about Champ Bailey personally, but, you know, I remember around the time when Champ and some of them other guys were put in, you know, he was wondering, like, how they get in before, you know, Eric Allen. You know, because when Deion played, the top corners was him, Eric Allen, you know what I mean? I remember Chris Dishman was up there. I'm trying to remember. Think back to that time. Who am I forgetting, man? Who am I forgetting? And anyway, man, this ain't what the people are here for. I just want to mention something about
the Jets. You remember that interception
against the Saints?
I thought the Jets. Remember Eric Allen caught the interception against the Jets, and he weaved and took it all the way back to the end zone.
Oh, that was the Jets. Okay. I thought that was the Saints, but I know that's the Jets. Okay.
Interceptions of all time.
Talking about the 92-yard joint.
Huh?
You talking about the 92-yard return?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, the one in the Saints, I think he did 2-on-1 game. I'm talking about the Jets. We was playing the Jets, and he intercepted the ball like at the 5. It took it all the way back to the end zone. He moved to like it's one of the greatest interceptions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think it was 92 yards, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. That job.
Yep.
He was a serious guy, man. And I'm glad he's going to the Hall of Fame because he deserves it. Honestly, it's not like, you know. But Jared Allen, you say he going to the Hall of Fame too, right?
Yeah. He had like 128 sacks for his career. You know what I mean? Can't argue with that.
This one is the best Hall of Fame class that I can remember, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with everybody. I agree with every pick.
These guys are serious players.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah. I think it's
to start putting people on Fame, but I don't know. But it's a good thing.
Yeah. Personally, I think it's a hell of a class. I don't have a problem with any pick. Like I said, just the only thing, Eric Allen and Sterling Sharp is just way overdue, in my opinion. Way overdue. You know? Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on to the next thing, man, right? So, basically, I've been seeing this everywhere, talking point. And this is any event that the Chiefs would win, which God forbid, we do not want to see that whatsoever. But this is something Shady was talking about. I saw, Chase Daniels, on the facility. And the question was, if Andy Reid and the Chiefs can three-peat, because if they win this game, it would be their third in a row. Would that make Andy Reid the greatest coach of all time? You want to go, or you want to hear my thoughts?
It's amazing because only recent in the past 10 years, these conversations on he's the greatest coach of all time. You had some coaches, man, in the history, like Hank Strain, that he may not have won like these guys, but he was a hell of a coach, and he imprinted a memory in my mind on the NFL presents because of who he was and how they talked about him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because they was more vocal and they got more audio, but they leave more of an impact on me than these recent coaches because those coaches what the NFL was built upon. But you didn't really have a lot of NFL. But I think it's so subjective because I think a lot of today's NFL is built upon what's easy to do a lot as far as passing because of the rules and the easy ways to score. So I can't really give these coaches today the greatest coach of all time because they really didn't have the same rules that the old NFL had. But I think he's top 5 for sure, or top 10. I'll give you that. Definitely top 10, maybe top 5. You know what I mean? But I just think it's so subjective of what we believe a great coach is.
Right. See, Yeah, I mean, you done with your answer?
Yeah, you go. Go.
See, for me, um, it depends how you look at this stuff, man. Like I do the same type of thing. I kind of look back at the past and impact and what you're doing and innovativeness and so on. And for me, it's like when you look at Andy Reid and they say he's the greatest offensive mind, for example, like I heard a podcaster say this on one a famous cowboy podcaster say that Andy Reid is the greatest offensive mind, and I don't know if I agree with that. Right now, I'm speaking, as of course, obviously, we're going to face Andy Reid this weekend, but as a Philadelphia Eagle who saw Andy Reid from his very beginning, his highs and his lows, right? Now, I'll give you this. I will admit, maybe Kansas City Andy Reid is a little better than Philadelphia Andy Reid. He's older, he's wiser, he learns from mistakes, so on and so forth. Okay. I personally have a hard time putting him, for example, over a guy like I ain't gonna go too far back for people, like a Jimmy Johnson, for example. Jimmy Johnson, to me, in a situation where he's going head up with an Andy Reid, and it probably may have never happened unless we played his old Dolphins back in the day or something like that. I mean, he was pretty much gone from the Cowboys before Andy Reid came to Philly, but I think Jimmy Johnson would just outcoach the hell out of him every day of the week. And the reason is Jimmy Johnson seems like the type of guy, the type of coach to me that's more malleable and more sensible and sticks to more principles. I think he followed more principles that are winning principles early on that Andy Reid had to learn later. You understand what I mean? Like Jimmy Johnson already had more of like an idea that, right, the running back is going to be like his workhorse. His baseline strategy is going to be establishing the run. Ball control, great time management, strategizing and attacking the weaknesses of the opponent and things like that. I saw Jimmy Johnson kind of doing that immediately. Now, maybe he had an advantage because he had some coaching experience prior in college with the Miami Hurricanes that put him a little bit ahead of Andy Reid. Because when Andy Reid first came, I saw a guy with he had some great qualities. Like when we're going to get into that in a second. Like he obviously is a great quarterback whisperer. That's Andy Reid's strength. That's the thing that he has that is unique to him and a few others. He started off as a quarterback's coach for the Green Bay Packers, and his first job was to coach up Brett Favre. And obviously, he did a good job with that. That got him the job with the Philadelphia Eagles because the Eagles were a franchise that was looking to pattern themselves after the Packers and after the 49ers of the 80s and the early 90s. So Andy Reid came with that skill set. So the one thing I'll agree with people who say that he's the best is that Andy Reid is going to always guarantee that you have competent quarterback play at the very least for your team. Your team will always have competent quarterback play at the very least if they ain't got nothing else. And that I say is true. But does that make him the greatest coach? For me, I've seen Andy Reid in way too many situations where he should run the ball more, but out of stubbornness, not out of like some wisdom or something, out of complete stubbornness, he wouldn't do it. And I've seen him lose games like that many, many, many times. And this not only has happened as an Eagles coach, but also as the Chiefs coach. I've seen him. Back in with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeated them, Andy Reid basically refused to run the ball, and he allowed Patrick Mahommes to constantly be, tracked down by Barrett and the other guys on the Tampa Bay's defense. Right? He knew that he had a deficiency with an offensive lineman. He knew he needed a tackle, but he still goes into there thinking he's going to pass the ball and drop back 40 times. And these are the things that just make me, drives me crazy about him. Now, this is my hunch, and maybe I'm bugging. But I kind of have the hunch that Andy Reid has many of the similar deficiencies he had as an Eagles coach, but having Patrick Mahommes as a guy that is very calm under pressure, who is not rattled easily or at all, pretty much, he kind of covers up a lot of Andy Reid's deficiencies and BS. For me, I think so. Now, the guys, is he top 10? Absolutely. You would be a hater to say he's not. Top 5? Maybe, right? His winning percentage will tell you that. The amount of wins he got will tell you that. But I have a hard time putting him over a Bill Belichick, for example. Now, one can argue Bill Belichick had Tom Brady and he did a similar thing. Some people come with the arguments that he's nothing without Brady, whereas Andy Reid was good with other quarterbacks. But I think that argument is weak because, number one, when Andy Reid first came to the league, he was pretty much gifted Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb was the number 2 overall pick in the NFL at the time. Donovan McNabb, as it turns out, was absolutely the best quarterback in his draft, even though he was the second quarterback taken. He was better than all those quarterbacks after him and better than the quarterback Tim Couch who was before him. That's a quality quarterback to have. I heard Hugh Douglas one time say that because McNabb wasn't successful when he went on to Washington, that this was proof that he wasn't that good without Andy Reid, which I thought was absolutely absurd. And Donovan McNabb had to work with bad receivers, all this type of stuff, similar to what he's doing to Mahommes now. And I just don't get this idea, and I don't agree with this notion that he's just good with bad quarterbacks. Now, if he's in a situation for a limited time, and he, as a backup in there for a game or two, sure, he's done fine. But that's the same thing like with the Eagles this year when Tanner McKee comes in and he plays good for a game or two or whatever. Like that I've seen that happen before. I've seen Bill Belichick be fine in situations where Tom Brady might be missing for a game or two, right? But, of course, he had trouble when Tom Brady leaves, and then now you're starting from the beginning. But, that hasn't – when did Andy Reid really have a horrible quarterback? Some people look at Alex Smith. He made Alex Smith. Alex Smith was the number 1 overall pick in the fucking draft. Excuse my language, right? He was the number 1 pick. That wasn't like a bum quarterback. So this was the point Shady was trying to make. No, he's not just making any quarterback great. Michael Vick. They say, oh, look what he did with Michael. That's Michael Vick. We thought Michael Vick was the number 1 overall pick. It was up to Michael Vick to decide, okay, now I'm going to focus on passing. But he was already a damn, superstar quarterback already. Andy Reid now definitely helped him with some things, put him in a more of a structure. But I don't think he made Michael Vick or something like that. Michael Vick had to go through what he went through, had to go to prison and all of that for the nonsense, and then decide he wanted to be better. And then, of course, Andy Reid can help him get there. But, I just don't understand that argument. And basically, I'll just say this. The difference between him and Bill Belichick is this, in my opinion. Bill Belichick and Andy Reid come with 2 different skill sets that are unique to them. Bill Belichick, I believe, is one of, if not the greatest defensive coaches of all time. And Andy Reid is one of the best. He could be the best quarterback whisperer, one of the best, and one of the greatest play designers. He's great at designing plays. But if we're talking about game day strategy and going at it, I got Belichick over Brady. I got Belichick over Andy Reid all day. Do people remember 2004 when Belichick and Andy Reid went at it? And I get it. Some people say they cheated and all of that. But beyond that, he outcoached him. Andy Reid came in with a particular strategy. Bill Belichick hit him with a strategy where he saw that the Eagles were running the Eagles were playing against 4-3 defenses all year, and they were good. But Donovan McNabb struggled against 3-4 defenses. And even though Bill Belichick ran a base 4-3 defense, what he did was for the Super Bowl, he switched to a 3-4. He switched up the whole defense. This is what people say, that when you go to the Super Bowl, you are not supposed to do anything different from what you've done before. Bill Belichick never cared about that. He one of the first dudes I seen using offensive linemen and throwing touchdown passes to him. When he had Troy Brown, who was a cornerback, he would play Troy Brown at wide receiver. He would play Troy Brown at wide receiver at cornerback. He did different things like that I would see Bill Belichick doing early on. Bill Belichick's the type of guy, if it's raining or snowing, Bill Belichick type of guy, if it's snowing, he gonna run the ball. if it's good weather, he gonna pass the ball. He's the type of guy, if he's playing against a defense that's bad against the run, he's gonna run the ball. If you're bad against him, he's gonna pass the ball. Bill Belichick is known for taking away what you do best and making you go to the second or third thing. And this is why he had all this success against guys like Peyton Manning. He has success against guys like Aaron Rodgers. We acting like this dude didn't dominate football for like 20 damn years. And we're gonna sit and act like it was just all Brady. That's disingenuous. Now, if you want to say during the last 3 that they won, maybe it was more Brady, less Belichick. But you cannot say that about 0-1. You can't say that about 0-3 Patriots. You can't say that about the 0-4 Patriots. 0-4 Patriots was more Belichick than less Brady. The last 3 was maybe more Brady than Belichick. But even then, there was times where Bill Belichick would take the ball out of Brady's hands. He did not give a damn, and he would just run the ball. What I'm saying is, in my opinion, Andy Reid is just not better than Bill Belichick. I don't see it. And then people who use the argument that Belichick is nothing without Brady, then what the hell is Andy Reid without Patrick Mahommes? And then don't give me Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb was a number 2 pick in the draft. Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick, and Mahomes was like a number 10 pick. So you can't say Donovan McNabb. Can't use Alex Smith. He's a number 1 pick. Like, what are we talking about? But anyway, you got anything to add to that? I'm done with that. I don't. I got him behind Bill Walsh, who's really the mind that came up with the offense that Andy Reid took to another level. I got him behind Vince Lombardi, of course. And between him and Don Shula is close. You know what I mean? Don Shula was great for a number of years like him. He just played forever. Coach forever. Tom Landry, I guess you can put him over Landry. Chuck, no, I don't put him over Chuck. No, Chuck Noll got 4 rings. So I don't know. So you got anything to add to that?
I agree with you.
Now, if he comes out there and beats this damn Eagles team, I guess that's the kind of thing it would be. That would be impressive. This is a damn crazy Eagles team, which we're going to get into. I know a lot of people is waiting for that. We're going to get into that. All right, now the next question. If the Chiefs win, would this three-peat make Patrick Mahomes the GOAT? What you got to say on that?
I'll put him in the top 5 for sure.
So you don't think he's top 5 now?
If he win this one, I'll give him top 5.
So who your top 5?
Top 10 down, but I'll put him top 5.
So who your top 5 right now?
Definitely Joe.
Joe, Tom.
Brady.
Okay.
Yeah, and definitely Elway. Now, to me, you got to win the Super Bowl to be in my top 5, so I can't put anybody up than that. He could be the quarterback of the Steelers,
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw. Got to do it. And I will put I'll put him. He's number 5.
So Patrick Mahomes is number 5.
He's number 5.
All right.
If you win this weekend, he move up.
Okay.
Where I gotta rethink.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Just think, you can think about it. All right, for me, this is a tough one, man. This is a tough one. I already believe Patrick Mahomes is probably the most physically talented quarterback I've seen. Probably. He's mobile enough. You know what I mean? He's not an elite runner, but he's mobile enough. His arm is ridiculous. He can make every throw, without a doubt. Now he's not the best, read and react guy. Sit in the pocket, read, react, boom, boom, boom. But who cares? Honestly, that's like, some people judge quarterbacking as just that, and everything else is outside of that. So I don't look at him that way. Would a 3-peat make him the GOAT? No. But he might be the number 2 after Brady if that happens. And I gotta kind of stick to my principles that I got. For me, the main thing for a quarterback, the best attribute a quarterback can have is poise and clutchness, which are pretty much one and the same. To me, that's the number one thing. And then I start looking at other things like arm talent, and he's right there with everybody. Pocket awareness, pocket presence is another thing I look at. In that result, he's pretty good. Reading, reacting, and stuff like that. He's getting better all the time. Because Patrick Mahomes first came to the league, he wasn't reading defenses at all. He wasn't even really trying. He was just so damn talented. He didn't have to. And that happens with some of them guys early on. But now, he reads better, all of that kind of stuff. So, if he could 3-peat and beat this Eagles defense, he's facing the number 1 defense in the league. He may be number 2. Yeah, because that would be his 4th ring. 3 straight. That would be something. That would be something. All right, now the next one is this is where we're gonna get a little. This is where we're gonna get a little crazy. And this is because, and I'm trying to find. Did I send you the Dan Orlovsky cut? Where? Let me see. Did I send you that? Where he asked about Hurts and what it? Oh my goodness, he's gone. Ain't that something? All right, we got it though. This is the next joint. Jalen Hurts.
Question that. He's a leader. He's a tremendous athlete. He's proven to be a winner. We get that part. But you don't talk about him in the same light as the Lamar Jacksons, the Josh Allens of the world, and others because, he has yet to have it on his shoulders and get it done, per se. You have Saquon Barkley. You have an elite defense. People look at those things and they say, okay, sometimes they've talked about him as if he's a game manager. We all know he's more than that. And I'm certainly not going to sit up there and cast aspersions on him in that regard. But since week 5, the Philadelphia Eagles have ran the football more than anybody in the National Football League. And they've thrown the football less than anybody in the National Football League. Dead last in pass attempts. Why? Because that's saying we're not putting the ball in the hands of our quarterback or the game in the hands of our quarterback. We're putting it in the hands of our running back. That's the perception. And so for me, you ignore all of that when you walk away with a Super Bowl championship. When you don't walk away with a Super Bowl championship, you ask why. Why did that not happen? And so, and ultimately, it'll come back to people at least asking that question about Jalen Hurts, which is why I say you put all of that to bed by winning a Super Bowl championship. Because if you win a Super Bowl championship, that's something that Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen do not have not done. It's that simple to me.
I don't think there's anything that Jalen can do to be in the conversation with those three guys as players. I agree with your point that the Super Bowl it elevates the perception of him. But talent-wise, I don't think Jalen's ever going to be into that group.
All right, did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
What'd you think of that?
Yeah. This is what I want to say about people like Dan Orlovsky and the people that say what he said. Because there's a lot of them. This is what I'm saying, right? If we're going to say that even if Hurts win the Super Bowl, but before I even say that, let me say Booker McFarland say if Jalen Hurts win the Super Bowl, maybe we can put him in the top 8. That's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So all right, let me say this, right? If we're going if Hurts wins the Super Bowl, he's still not in the Lamar and the Allens, and to me, see, I look at quarterbacks different. I'm from Philly, and I know a good quarterback when I see him, right? I know a good quarterback. And the number one thing, right, that you have to be as a good quarterback, and I think you will agree, you have to be clutch. If you ain't clutch, I don't care what you do with your stats. Like when the game is on the line and it's 2 minutes left, what are you going to do? Are you going to buckle, or are you going to fall to the wayside? You understand what I'm saying? What you're going to do in the playoffs, that matters. When the Hurts is in the championship game, what did he do? He beat San Francisco. They don't give him credit for that. Oh, well, the other quarterback was hurt. Okay, fine. He went toe-to-toe with Mahommes. Oh, he turned the ball over. That one turnover and that lost. Okay, all right. But he beat the guy who everybody says is better than Hurts this year, Jaden. He put 59 up on him. But he get credit for that? Because that's what he done in the playoffs. So, to me, you got to be clutch. Lamar is not clutch. He's not clutch to me. And I give clutch genes to a little bit of clutchness to Josh Allen, just a little bit. Because he did beat Mahommes, walked off the field with 13 seconds left. I got to give him that. The defense let him down. But since that game, he hasn't done it again. So I don't know if he's clutching out. Maybe he just had a good game. And Joe Burrows keep getting hurt. I think he's a victim of circumstance because his defense is trash. He keep getting hurt because he did beat, Mahomes once. And he did go to the Super Bowl. But then he lost in the Super Bowl. I forgot, who did he lose to in the Super Bowl?
Who?
Joe Burrow?
He lost to the Rams.
He lost to the Rams. And that Rams is not the greatest show on turf.
That was a good Rams team. That was a good team, though. That was a good team.
Really good
quarterback.
To me, you should have beat the Rams. But, hey, I think Hurts is in the category of those guys because what the problem is, they don't put Hurts they don't put his touchdowns in the far as his running touchdowns. They say that they don't count. How can you tell me the tush pushes don't count? I'm confused that now we're just taking points off the board. That's like saying Wilt Chamberlain dunks don't count. Shaq dunks don't count because they're too easy, to score. But they're part of his scoring title. They're part of who he is. You can't take away a person who he is as an individual. So every year he averaged 35 touchdowns in the NFL. That's elite to me. No matter how he got them, they elite. You can't argue with that. And he had 1 year where he had high interceptions, and it's 15. But that same year, Patrick Mahomes had 18, and Josh Allen had like 20. But they only talk about Hurts interceptions. Go look. Oh, he turned the ball over that year, but they also did too. So I don't know. I definitely think he's top 5 to me. But those people have to know football. They don't know football, so I can't argue with them. You know, that's my argument.
All right, so this is where I got to start for me.
This year, he's number 2 after Mahommes. Bottom line, because he's the only one in that top 5 that been 2 Super Bowls and won one. Rest of them done nothing. Burrow's been to one and didn't win anything, so he's number 2 to me if he win this year. And if he don't win, he's number 3. Simple as that.
All right. I think the question is hilarious because, all right, would Wynn put Hurts? Because this is what they did on the show. That's why I'm just repeating their question. Would the Wynn put Jalen Hurts in the class with Allen, Burrow, or Mahommes? All right, so that's a problem I got with the first question. There's 2 problems I got with it. Number 1, since when is Allen and Burrow in the same class with Mahommes? That's number 1. So yeah, that. Why? What puts them all in the same class? What is it? The sidearm throws, mobility a little bit, ability to wild. Why would they all be in the same category? I'm trying to understand. What are we looking at? We're looking at stats. We're looking at accomplishments. Because the only motherfucker that accomplished anything was Mahommes. Allen just got MVP. That's what we look at. Then Mahommes is the only one I think that Hurts will look at and be like, damn, I admire that dude. And that class that's the class I want to be in. You know why? Because that's the class of people with Super Bowl rings, quarterbacks with Super Bowl rings. So, first of all, Mahomes' name shouldn't even be there. Because Allen and Burrow trying to get where he is. Stats, that's what you care about? Then I ain't even trying to rap to you, dog. Because we ain't here at all. So, Hurts already in a class with Allen and Burrow because they're guys who don't have rings. He's already beyond Allen because Allen never got far enough to be the sniffer ring. Close deep in championship game. That's good. I respect that. I like that. But year after year after year after year, you're going to keep losing to the same guy, to the same team by just little schmidlin and stuff. And I seen Allen in situations where if he'd have just thrown that ball a little bit better, a little bit earlier, made a little bit of better decision, he would have won. I'm not going to say he's not clutch, but I'm just trying to tell you, he had his moments and he had his chances. And I've seen that. I've seen this dude, Josh Allen, get mangled by Cincinnati at home. I've seen all that stuff. I'm just trying to figure out what are they doing that I need to be saying Hurts ain't in their class. That's what I need to figure out. And then for real, what class is that? What are we talking about? Like, is what would Cam Newton be talking about game changers, whatever that is? He still hasn't defined what the fuck that is. He just got this idea in his head of a thing that he still hasn't articulated enough to where I understand what he's even talking about. And apparently nobody understands what he's talking about. When he's talking about the difference between game managers and game changers, what is he talking about? I thought a game manager was a guy, like the way I see a game manager is a guy that performs the minimal task of a quarterback. Like, for example, when Tanner McKee came in and played for the Eagles and for a little bit, he just stands in the pocket and he does the play, carries out the play exactly how it's drawn up, right? The offensive coordinator gives you a play, right? Your progression is this. Your first read is this. Your second read is that. Third read is that. The quarterback that goes in there and just does it according to the way it's drawn up perfectly and all of that, who is good at knowing when to spike the ball, knowing how to throw it away and not cheat. He's managing the game. And there's nothing wrong with that. It really isn't. But you're doing the most minimal. However, how can you be a quarterback, right, whose job is to carry out what the offensive coordinator is doing? And honestly, part of your the way you play is that you run as well. And Your running gets you damn near as many touchdowns as your passing. I don't understand how that's a game manager. Like, I don't. I never heard of a dual threat quarterback that's just simply a game manager. I don't understand how that works. If so, he would be the first one of his kind ever. I never heard of that being a game manager. I've heard of guys like Mark Sanchez being game managers. I've heard of guys like Garcia being a game manager. I've heard of guys like, I can mention them forever. Trent Dilfer. Never heard of a guy that runs for multiple, like we're talking about multiple digit touchdowns, passes multiple digit touchdowns as a game manager. And then to answer this particular question, so Josh Allen has no Super Bowl rings. Joe Burrow has no Super Bowl rings. So Jalen Hurts gets a Super Bowl ring. He's still not in the class with Allen or Burrow. What class is this? I just need to know what class that is. And then we can talk about it. What class is that? Guys who don't have no damn rings. Guys who don't get the Super Bowls. Now, what's the other argument that people use? Well, they're in the AFC. The mighty, mighty AFC. What happened the last time the Philadelphia Eagles played the Cincinnati Bengals? The Eagles beat them. So it's safe to say if the Eagles in the AFC, they would still beat them, right? They ain't gonna all of a sudden not be able to beat them because they're the AFC. I'm assuming, right? What happened when the last time the Eagles played the Bills? Eagles beat them, right? Okay. So we can assume that if they're in the AFC, they can still beat the Bills. They're not gonna all of a sudden not be able to beat them because they're in the AFC. Baltimore, another mighty AFC team. Eagles beat them last time they played them, right? So then we're going to go to what's the other thing? Well, Jalen Hurts has all this talent on the team. And you know what? I can't help you there. If that's what you're doing, you got to go that far. I can't help you. You know why? Because I'm an Eagles fan. I want to have great wide receivers. I want to have great running back. I want to have a great offensive line. I want to have a great defense. So I'm hoping we're never in a situation where the shit you want to see is ever seen, because I don't want that. I hold every single member of the organization to a high standard. That includes the general manager. I expect the general manager to bring in the best talent. If not, I'm on his ass. I'm not going to expect the quarterback to just go out there and overcome everything. I think that's dumb. I'm going to want the general manager to bring me better talent around the quarterback. I don't care if he's Mahommes. I don't care if he's Montana. I don't care if he's Brady. I don't ever want to see a world where quarterback got to do all this extra stuff. And for real, I already saw Hurts in that situation. Do you remember 2021, y'all? Remember that? 2021? Jalen Hurts' first year as a starter. 2021, he had a rookie wide receiver, Devontae Smith. He had a trash number 2 in Quez Watkins. Number 3, I don't even remember who the hell he was. Probably Greg Ward or somebody like that. Another practice squad player. Offensive line was decent, was good, but really they were coming off a season where they had 11 injured players. So we didn't know what the line was going to be that year, to be honest with you. Defense, trash that year in 2021. Trash. Every single time that defense under Jonathan Gannon faced a either competent, above average, or great quarterback, they got torched. So much so, corny dudes like Herbert went like 80% completion. Derek Carr torched them. He's 80% completion against that defense of 2021. All you literally had was Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard were the running backs. And I like Miles. I did. I like Miles and Jordan Howard. Somehow, that team, that's the team that Jalen Hurts had to put on his back. All this shit people say he can't do. And he got to the playoffs. Of course, you lost the first round to the defending champions in Tom Brady. But Hurts already seen Jalen Hurts in a situation where he don't have a loaded team and he got to the playoffs. That's more I can say than your boy, what's this dude? Trevor Lawrence. Who's the other dude? They call him Prince that was promised. And then Herbert and all these other guys, right? Who have talent, way more talent than Hurts had in 2021. Can't do shit. I'm not gonna keep arguing with y'all dudes who think like that. You mean to tell me if he win a Super Bowl, then he's still not in the class with Allen and Burrow? Man, fuck you, man. Because I know you're just a hater. And that's how I really feel about that. I want to go to some of the comments here, people, because some of the people getting impatient, you know, and they probably going over to other threads, other lives and all of that, which is cool. You know, everybody has ADD in this day and age, so it is fine. Let me see. My man Simply Ball dropping came through. He dropped a salute. I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. What's up, Fulani? Maybe I'm Fulani. I think so. I was told that's possible. But Fulani actually isn't my real name. It's just the name that I use here. Andre Reed from the Bills. Yeah. What's up with Andre Reed? Was he in? He didn't make it? He said you're cool with NFL history. That's what's up. Because that's what I love it. I love it. You know, I'm that kid. I used to sit around and watch Steve Sable productions all day long. You know what I'm saying? So Jared says a win for Jalen Hurts would have to put him into elite space because he's a guy that's been to the big game multiple times with a ring. Really, Mahommes would be the only one with that resume. There we go. Now we got somebody that's talking real. If 3P does make Mahommes the GOAT, in my opinion, 3P has never happened before. It hasn't happened in the 3P has never happened in the post-modern NFL, meaning the Super Bowl era. Prior to that, you know, Bart Starr and Lombardi's Packers did it. But I got you. Reed with and win can't take the GOAT mantle. Yeah, I agree. Says, Flag, can you explain to me why Nick Wright says that Jalen Hurts push touchdowns aren't actual rushing touchdowns and that there should be an asterisk? I don't take anything Nick Wright says seriously. Nick Wright is a Kansas City Chiefs fan. He's very blatant about that. He's very biased when it comes to anything that's dealing with the Chiefs. So, like, what do you mean you're not an actual rushing touchdown? It is a rushing touchdown because that's what it is. What is it, a passing touchdown? So stupid. You know, I don't take Nick Wright seriously. And I suggest for your sanity that either you don't watch him or just don't take him very seriously. You know, take everything he says as like a joke. You know, you got anything to add to any of these comments before we go on to the next subject?
Nick Wright. He know that the Eagles is a threat to his Kansas City Chiefs. So he tried to like say things. Like, what are you saying that you're going to make it an asterisk, a rushing touchdown? What do you mean? I don't understand. What are you saying? There's no other nothing you can put it in, no category you put in other than rushing touchdown. Like, that's just ridiculous. It really is. I can't have a biased guy like that speaking on the Eagles or any other team. He's just straight biased. Every week he got Mahommes on the quarterback Mount Rushmore, and he hasn't been the best quarterback all year. Like I got that. What are you talking about? I'm gonna take him seriously. But he's a LeBron guy, so that shows me what's going on with him.
Yeah,
LeBron guy.
Nick Wright is a guy I think he understands like the power of like the hot take. And that's the thing. Let me just say the unpopular thing, and he knows, especially like the Philly fan base is very like, we'll come back at him, we'll listen, we'll come back, we'll get angry. So I think he just likes to poke us, you know, stuff like that too. But he might be stupid enough to believe that shit. I don't know. He might be. I wouldn't put that past him either. And honestly, just to speak briefly on like a lot of those national media people, it's very few shows that I even take seriously. Definitely Nick Wright's show. Though the boy Wilds, I like shout out to Wilds. Wilds makes the show what it is. He's the only dude that kind of like he really be cooking the hell out of Nick Wright because he's so logical. You know, he just always brings his facts. He brings his logic. He don't really hot take. You know what I mean? Um, he's very sarcastic with his delivery. So Wilds is really the only reason I watch if I see it's a situation where he's like coming challenging Nick Wright. Chris Broussard, I liked him on basketball. I still kind of do. Football, I mean, I don't know. He be all over the place for a time. He was kind of with the Cowboys, and then next thing you know, he's supporting the Eagles, I thought, and then he allows something like Nick Sirianni and Big Dom going at it with the defensive line coach to have him say the Eagles jump off the Eagles real quick. Like he put a whole lot of stock into whether or not the team was like dysfunctional or something like that. The Eagles aren't dysfunctional. Though I admit a lot of people don't understand Eagle culture. The Eagles like, and I didn't initially. Like last year, I was big time against the way the Eagles run the organization. You know, I felt like Jeffrey Lurie might have meddled too much. I thought Jeffrey Lurie, because Jeffrey Lurie made statements in the past that he likes to see a great, crazy passing game, that he doesn't really like the running game like that he didn't really care about defense and stuff like that. When Jeffrey Lurie was putting that energy out there, I didn't like that either. And I thought that he was trying to impose his vision of the team he wants on the team. When I thought he was doing that, that's when I had a problem with him. But it's obvious that, as Jeffrey Lurie said before, he explained that he, after the Chip Kelly era, what he does is he runs the organization in a collaborative type of effort. So, in other words, he puts his input, how he puts his input, the head coach puts his input, even the quarterback puts his input, and it's the type of culture where anybody can go talk to anybody. You know, if you are the defensive back or something, if you're just a cornerback, you can go up to Howie and say something, you know, give your input. If you Lane Johnson, you can go talk to Jeffrey Lurie. Like, that's the culture of the Eagles. Now, like, so they argue shit out. Sometimes the player yell at the coach yell back at the player, but they don't take it personal. They all just trying to get better as a team. So when we see AJ Brown, you know, snapping out or something like that, it's not dysfunctional on the team. That's just the way they hash shit out. And as long as they're all being men and they accept that this is what it is, hey, it works. They're in the Super Bowl. So obviously, you know, it works. So I just accept that the way it is, and that's Eagle culture. It's not dysfunction. And you know, but really you gotta win this game to prove it. To really show that there's Eagle culture. All right, so now it's time to get into the game, man. Enough of the speculation and all that. And I know we didn't went on a long time, but this is going to be a long one today because we haven't been going live lately. So we just got to catch up with a lot of stuff, man. It just is what it is. It's one of them things. All right, so then we're going to get straight to it. This is the first question we got here. Which unit has the advantage? Is it the Chiefs offense or the Eagles defense? Go.
I have to give it to the Chiefs, the Eagles defense.
Okay.
Because it's basically Mahommes against the Eagles defense. Now, the problem is Mahommes don't have eliteness that separate him or to get him past his defense. You have an aging, you know, receiver, and you know, then you have a rookie receiver, and the fast guy, and then you have an aging tight end who haven't had a great year. You know, so this is what you have to present to try to get you past the defense. And the defense have a bunch of young talent, a bunch of people in their primes. It's going to be, I give it to the defense because I don't think he can do it. I don't think he can do it. The last time he beat us, the defense wasn't as good as we is today. It wasn't. And we was dominant in that first half. You know, in the second half, our run defense wasn't good. This time, our run defense is good. Our pass defense is top number one, and it's not going to be a piece of cake like it was last time. It's not. We actually got talent on defense. We got a lot of talent on defense. So I think the defense is going to hold him to 21 points. If we hold him to 21 points, I think it's a guaranteed victory. Anything more than that is going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. So I think we're going to hold him to 21 points. And Vic Fangio defense, in the last 8 times he played Mahomes, held him to 21 points. But the problem was his team only scored 11 points. So if we can keep on that same trend, then we can hold him to 21 points, which has been proven with a Vic Fangio defense, no matter what team he was on. And this may be the most talented team that he had, and young at that. That's crazy. I think we can hold him. So I give the defense the edge if we hold him to the same trend to 21 points.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
For me, this is very simple. It's the Eagles defense. The Eagles defense is the number 1 defense in the league. Right? They're up there when it comes to the rush and the pass. Number 1 against the pass. Against the rush, top 5. Chiefs offense is 16th in the league. 14th in passing, 22nd in rushing. All right, so if you're just looking at it on paper, Eagles come in with the better roster. Eagles come in with the advantage, according to the paper. Now, we know this shit ain't one on paper. It's one out there. So the only thing, really looking at it like this, that could say stop the advantage the Eagles have or equal it out is if they could be out-coached to the point where, like, that compensates for the talent disparity. And I would be so disappointed in something like that happening because my position on Andy Reid is I don't think he's that dude like that, like they put it. I got to respect him because he, it's been coaching forever. I got to respect him. I respect Andy Reid as a play designer more than a play caller. A play designer more than a play caller. He's a play designer extraordinaire, without a doubt. He knows how to use misdirection. He knows how to give you looks that kind of confuse you. You don't know who's getting the ball. Sometimes, once you find out who has the ball, he's 5 yards down the field. And then you have the perfect general running it in Patrick Mahommes. That I give you. Okay? But, like, a lot of times in these situations, and for real, it's going to come down to the who's. It's not the what's, meaning it's not the play that you call, but it's who you got doing it. DeAndre Hopkins, unless DeAndre Hopkins can turn back the hands of time, the wheel of time, and be DeAndre Hopkins from 4 years ago, I mean, I'm not worried about him when I got Quinyon Mitchell out there. Or if even in the slot and I got Cooper DeJean out there. I'm not even really scared of him with Darius Slay on him. Xavier Worthy. Now, Xavier Worthy does present some possible problems. And from this standpoint, if Vic Fangio, because Vic Fangio's defensive scheme first is to eliminate the big play. The only big play threat the Chiefs got that I see is Xavier Worthy in the passing game. Pacheco has some big play possibility, but it's really Xavier Worthy. If we're so concerned about Xavier Worthy going deep, even though it ain't like he's shown that he's killing it like that. He's not Tyreek Hill or anything like that. But if we're so concerned about that, to where we're playing off and we're giving up too much underneath stuff, and he's able to catch and get some yard after the catch stuff, that could be a potential problem. Is that going to beat you? I don't know. I don't know if I'm playing the Chiefs that way because you shouldn't. I don't see a reason to fear their big play capability, if you understand what I'm saying. So, that's the only thing I can see if, like, Fangio's overthinking this stuff, which I would hope a guy that's 30 years experience in the league would not, overthink it. He should have studied everything Andy Reid has done. He's faced Andy Reid a number of times already in his career, and it's been a good back and forth between them. Andy has the advantage, and it's because, for the most part, Andy Reid has always had the better team than Vic Fangio, even when Vic Fangio was the head coach there in Denver. Fangio, of course, we know got the one Super Bowl win, but he should know Andy Reid very well. He should know that their players very well. Their personnel is the word I was looking for. And he should be very much prepared. I mean, when you just look at the guys, the talent, the better athletes on the Eagles side, and the stats are showing that out. Number 1 versus number 16. I got to say the Chiefs offense has the advantage there. All right, now on the flip side, Eagles offense versus Chiefs defense. You got any thoughts on that?
Yes. I got a lot of thoughts on that. We're gonna if I don't think anybody can stop our running. I don't.
Running game?
And our running game. I don't think anybody can stop it. And they like to blitz. So I think we got the advantage there. I mean, my offensive line is the best offensive line in football. To me, it might be the best offensive line the Eagles team ever had. To me, so if they can shut this running game down, I take my hat off to them. That's the only way they're going to win this game, and I doubt they're going to do that. I doubt they're going to stop Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown and Devontae and Goddard. I doubt that. So we got the I give the nod to the Eagles offense, to their defense. Even though they do have a good defense, but their defense gave up 29 to Buffalo. So, at the end of the day, I give the nod to the Eagles offense. 100%.
Eagles offense versus Chiefs defense. The Chiefs defense, I respect them. In total defense, the Chiefs are 9th, I believe, right? Let me see. Yeah, they're 9th in total defense. It's respectable, top 10 defense. They also known for showing up in big times and big moments when they need it. But I'll put it this way. But they are 17th against the pass. 17th. All right, now people will identify the Eagles passing game, which is like in the 20s. Is really not, according to stats, is not all of that, right? People will see that. They think the Chiefs may be able to handle that because, they got a couple of corners and so on. I think that's deceptive. I think that's very deceptive. The Philadelphia Eagles have all the potential in the world to have a powerful passing game. I don't think people would deny that much because ultimately it's still A.J. Brown, a top 3 receiver in the league. It's still Devontae Smith, top 10 to 15 receiver in the league. Still Dallas Goedert, top 10 tight end in the league. And still Saquon Barkley with the potential to be used in a pass game, in particular screenplay and stuff like that, which I think is going to be a major weapon by the Eagles' screen game. The Eagles, I would not be believing. I would not go by the idea that the Eagles' passing offense ain't all that. That's one of the situations I wouldn't look at paper for that. You got to look at the players they got. They decide to open it up, decide to pass the ball. Oh, yeah. I think so. Now, this is the thing that's been the argument here. And this is the thing Nick Wright, who we talked about a little earlier, seems to be so confident and cocksure about. And he believes that Saquon Barkley won't be able to run all over them. Now, there are many who disagree with him. And one of my favorites, actually, I got to give her respect. I used to be like a real skeptic of hers, but it's Mina Kimes, who's on NFL Live a lot, actually has her own thing. I fucking respect her because I don't care about you, a woman, man, whatever, you played, didn't play, and all that. If you present your shit, you know what you're talking about, I got to respect that. And she said, oh, no, they'll be able to run. She just straight up said it. Oh, no, they'll be able to run on the Chiefs. She believes that because she's seen way lesser running games like that of the Bills, which is a respectable running game. But she's seen that of the Bills, and she's seen some other teams that she mentioned be able to run on them. All right, now the Chiefs, against the run, it's better than their pass defense, but they're still giving up 101 yards on the ground. This is the dudes that are not Saquon Barkley. The Chiefs are giving up 100 yards on the ground to guys that are not Saquon Barkley. You understand what I'm saying? So Saquon Barkley is the greatest running back of this generation. Argue with me, debate me. I don't give a damn. You're going to lose. Okay? I love Henry. Hey, I love Adrian Peterson. I do. I swear I do. They ain't seen nothing like Saquon Barkley, bro, since Bo Jackson, Barry Sanders, and them boys. Especially behind this line. They ain't never seen nothing like that. I like McCaffrey. I like all them guys. They ain't seen nothing like Saquon. Saquon different. He different. In that Saquon is just as dangerous as a long pass to a Randy Moss or Deshaun Jackson, because one slip up, he gone. You stack the box, you better succeed. You better succeed. He get past that shit, it's over. And I ain't got to prove it. You've been watching this year, unless you've been under a rock, yeah, we know that. You think if Saquon gets a healthy dose, 25 carries, I'm guessing it'll be something like that they're just going to shut him down? Especially if the Eagles are using him in screen games, and I think they will, because we start to see slowly they're using him a little bit more in those games, and they better have some stuff that we ain't seen all year for Saquon. You better. I think the Eagles will be able to run. I'm pretty sure Eagles will be able to pass. Now, the thing you have to be ready for, and this is what you mentioned, was the blitz packages. If we were in the world of last year, in previous years, I would be way more afraid of the blitz because I didn't know what the problem was. I started to wonder, was Jalen Hurts just a dumbass because of how bad the Eagles were against the blitz previously? However, we found out later, after Jason Kelce retired, all of a sudden they start putting out information that Jason Kelce was responsible for blitz coverage, blitz protection. He will call them out. So your center, whose head is down, ready to hike the ball, was the guy that was always responsible for calling out the blitzes. The quarterback had no control. No operational control over blitzes. This was last year. This is 2020. I'm trying to figure out how the hell we get to the Super Bowl with this, right? And the reason they did that was because Jason Kelce was doing that for Carson Wentz, the previous quarterback. So, when, Jalen Hurts comes in as this young quarterback and, you kind of bringing him around to the pro style of offense and so on, they didn't immediately throw that on him. Well, we found out that didn't work. By 2024, or 2023, that strategy didn't work. So now, since last season, Jalen Hurts has been given all control to pick up blitz pickups, all of that. It's a little bit of help from the center, but I would say 85% is Jalen Hurts is under control. So I believe because of that, all 2 weeks, he probably been studying Spags like a mug. I'm sure he's been studying the hell out of Spags. So I expect Jalen Hurts to be ready for the blitzes. Now, the blitzes will serve two different purposes, and this is why we got the perfect offense to deal with this shit. Spags will blitz to stop the run because his guys are undermanned, okay? The Philadelphia Eagles, offensive line, the average guy on that line is 6'5", 340 pounds. Let me say that again. 6'5", 340 pounds is the average size for guys on the Eagles' offensive line. The Kansas City Chiefs' defensive line, by average, I forget the exact average, but basically all those guys pretty much on the average are 30 pounds lighter than the guys on the Eagles' line, okay? So not only these guys big as hell and athletic as hell, but if you're trying to blitz, okay, if you're trying to blitz and you got Jalen Hurts picking up the blitz protections, running an RPO offense, oh, man, I think it could get so ugly, man. And I understand they were doing good against the run in other games, but you're not going up against RPO offenses unless it's like, Baltimore. Most of them offenses they're going up against, are not RPO ran offenses. So you don't know if Hurts is handing it off to Barkley. That's a problem. You stack against Barkley. Hurts can take off himself with the ball. If he don't do that, then he can pass if you're not jumping in. Like, it's honestly, and I ain't trying to talk crazy arrogant. I kind of see us dominating the hell out the Chiefs. And I hate to put that way, but that's the kind of what I see. Unless the Eagles are out there unprepared, which I don't think that's going to happen this year. I don't think the coaching staff is anywhere as bad as the last coaching staff. I think we're going to dominate the hell out the Chiefs, to be completely honest with you. And maybe I'm bugging, maybe I sound like a fan, but no, I'm really looking at this. I don't really, besides, like, and everybody, that's all they say. Well, they got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and that's really all you got. How far is that going to get you? You know? I don't know. I guess if you're one of those people who think they're the GOAT this and the GOAT that, then maybe. I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh, my man, Jared. Jared going in. All right, so Jared says, Eagles defense does, Fulan. There's only one star weapon that really the Eagles had to worry about. And Kelsey, if they contain him, they'll contain the offense. Yeah, ain't nobody worrying about no Kelsey. This slow ass. Like, I got Zach Bond. I got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back there. Probably going. Now, what I want them to see is I want to see a lot of Cooper DeJean on Kelsey. And I want to see Cooper DeJean not giving Kelsey a free release. I want to see more physicality with him. Don't just let him run off of the line. And I love the fact that Jason Kelsey ain't on the team. Why? Because I don't know. I got this feeling that every time we play against Kelsey, we're not hitting him as hard as we could, and we're not going at him as hard as we could because Jason Kelsey. Whereas now, Jason Kelsey's ass is off the team. I think it's free reign. Pop the hell out of Travis. Pop his ass. You got anything on this? You there? Okay, not there. Okay. Might have walked away or whatever. I think we're going to play way harder against Jason Kelsey than we have in the past. I mean, Travis Kelsey than we have in the past. And a big part of the reason is Jason Kelsey ain't over there, you know, because like listen, man, that ain't the only brother duo, okay, that ever happened in the league, nowhere near it. And I don't think he's competitive enough. For me, I never felt Jason was competitive enough against Travis. He's one of them soft-hearted brothers. But I feel like Travis is way more competitive than Jason. If you understand what I mean? Like, he has the big brother syndrome. That's the little brother. So it's like, hey, you know, I think if someone was, I believe if one of the Eagles defenders would have hit the hell out of Travis too hard, I think Kelsey might argue with him, you know, on the sideline or something like that. So I'm glad he's not there. That's what I just think he's too soft on his brother. Like, this guy, your brother beat you, and he said he was actually happy for Travis. Bro, I don't need nobody like that on the team. And I get it. A lot of y'all Eagles fans, y'all worship Jason Kelsey. That's cool. He's a nice guy. Y'all probably saw the show with Kelsey. You know, I've seen him in real life before and all that. Like, I've treated his neighbor's lawn, you know, because that was one of the businesses I had. Whatever. So I know him and I get it. But I always felt like the Eagles were never hard enough on Travis Kelsey. And I think part of the reason was because Jason Kelsey was over there. Whereas now it's free reign on his ass. Pop his ass. He's old. Put him on the ground. Put him on the ground. Jared says, Eagles have a slight edge on offense. This is the game where we finally see the importance of no Snead. There's no second elite corner, and that other safety spot isn't great either. Exactly. Right? Don't have Snead. You got the other corner who out there. His name skips my mind. McDuffie, right? Yeah. He's good. But I'm not worried about small corners on AJ Brown. Like, bigger corners like Ward from the 49ers and corners like that. I think McDuffie's too small. I think he lighting the ass. Like, Hurts throwing it up. AJ Brown, like you understand, like Quinyon Mitchell was a hell of a corner. Hell of a corner. Quinyon Mitchell was 6'1". And he plays against A.J. Brown in practice, and he does a good job. A.J. Brown is the type of dude, he holds you off with one arm and just catch one arm shit on you, one-handed shit on you with the other hand. You know what I mean? Like, I see that happening with McDuffie. You know, McDuffie can run with him, sure, but that doesn't mean at the point of attack he's going to win 50-50 balls. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about him. So I agree with you on that. Man. Said blitzing will be a problem for Spags if Hurts keeps checking it down to Barkley, Goddard, or hitting the slant route. Oh, yeah, there's going to be – if you look at the last time the Eagles played the Chiefs last year, people seem to conveniently forget we beat them with this team that was so horrible. Like Nick Wright says the Eagles were so horrible last year and all of that. Really, we were just like the Chiefs last year. Both us and the Chiefs were struggling, plugging through the year. But because the Chiefs have more continuity as far as, Andy Reid and Spags and so on, they were able to keep that team together. And, of course, Hurts and, Mahommes and them doing their thing. And they can always count on the AFC choking in the playoffs. They were able to continue and make it to the Super Bowl again, whereas the Eagles just fell apart because of the lack of continuity with the coaching staff as well as the players. It just spiraled out of control last year, right? But if you look at that game, last year, we beat them by utilizing the screen passes with DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift had one of his best games of the year against the Chiefs last year, especially in the passing game. Now, just imagine Saquon with the screens, Goddard, Saquon, exactly. It's going to be ugly. So Josh Allen in the regular season pretty much kept, that's what you do against an aggressive defense. Like, they want to keep blitzing, okay, I'm going to screen you to death. It's not a problem. In 2004, Tom Brady did that to us against we had Spags' predecessor, who was Jim Johnson, who Spags learned everything. He learned everything he did. He learned from Jim Johnson. And what's funny is McDermott as well was both. They're both disciples of Jim Johnson. But Spags or Jim Johnson was beat in 2004 by Tom Brady because Brady was utilizing screen passes to Kevin Falk and to Corey Dillon, and that pretty much killed us. So I would expect the same. There's going to be a healthy package of screens to Saquon Barkley that I think will be utilized against Spagnuolo, especially if he starts being too aggressive. And I don't see them dealing with our offensive line. Now, the guy we do have to worry about, of course, I'll be remiss if I don't talk about him, is Chris Jones, who didn't have like his best year right now, but you never know with guys like him. He'll step it up in the biggest moment. But it's going to be interesting to see Mekhi Becton dealing with him. Mekhi Becton is big, man. He's big. And he's really a tackle on the outside. It's interesting to see how he deals with Chris Jones, that matchup. And Cam Jurgens. I don't know that Cam Jurgens ever played against Chris Jones. Maybe he did. Maybe he faced him as a guard last year. Maybe. But that's going to be very that's going to be interesting. So Jason Kelce loves to go at his brother overly. He wants to beat him, but not embarrass. Man, please. Jason Kelce was never hard enough with his brother. That's some BS, when they're on their show and all of that. That's all good. And I get it. I have a brother. I get it. When I'm playing my brother or something, I'm trying to tear his ass up. That's just me. And I don't care if he loses, right? Because my thing was, even with Jason Kelce this year, was asked who's he rooting for. He talking about, I feel a connection to both teams. How the hell you got a connection to the Chiefs? The Philadelphia Eagles are the reason you have any fame that you have. I'm not even sure if Kelce was with a different team that he would be, what some are saying the greatest center of all time, which he isn't, but maybe the greatest Eagles center after Chuck Bednarik, right? Because he was with Jeff Stoutland. Travis Kelce, you understand, is very undersized for a center in his age. He's going up against, oftentimes he's outweighed by the tackle he's going up against, right? By the DT. So Jeff Stoutland was able to utilize him because he's just a master, man. And Jason Kelce, what makes him special is his athleticism and his ability to get to the second and third level in the running game. Though that's what separates Jason Kelce really from others. It was never so much the pass blocking, So if he was with Jeff Stoutland, I don't know that he's a Hall of Famer. At the present time, he's a Hall of Famer though. There's no doubt about it. All right, so what else we got going on, man? Another very, very, very important matchup is going to be Jalen Carter versus Trey Smith. Trey Smith is the guard for the Kansas City Chiefs, who is a hell of a player this year. He's their best guard without a doubt on that line. And the other thing about Trey Smith is that he's known as just being a little bit nuts, a little crazy, and a little violent. Jalen Carter, we know, is all nuts and all violence. So that's going to be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a fight, actually, because both of them dudes, they think they tough. Jalen Carter, I don't know. He almost reminds me of Charles Oakley from the NBA. You know what I mean? Like he's just a straight bully type of guy. So that's going to be a very, very interesting matchup. Let's make no mistake, if Jalen Carter is not contained, it's good night. It's good night, right? He's that type of talent. And then the other guy you got to watch out for is going to be Milton Williams, who's next to him. All right, who is he's the third defensive tackle that we use, and sometimes Fangio put him on the edge, you know. And then Brandon Graham more than likely will be back. The Eagles are being very coy about that. They're not announcing it, but it's likely Brandon Graham is going to play. If he's healthy, there's no way Brandon Graham misses this game. So I hate to just sound like I'm just the Eagles fan, but I'm just keeping it real, man. I really believe, just looking at this game seriously, I think the Eagles dominate the Chiefs, man. I really do. Unless they get outcoached. That's the only thing I can see, they're outcoached. Even Patrick Mahommes, as great as he is, as otherworldly as he can be as a player, I don't see him just carving up the defense because I don't think he has the weapons that are able to just get open like that. And I don't think we have the type of defense where he could just run around all day and just waste time, because you got guys like Nolan Smith who's going to be on his ass. Nolan Smith, who runs a 4-3. And then you got Zach Bond, who sometimes will put in the end. We'll blitz him. Unfortunately, we don't have Nakobe Dean. I wish we had Nakobe Dean, who hits the hole like a damn running back. You know, that would just be, oh, my goodness. But Trey Burks, the guy, Oren Burks, who's been replacing him, doing a hell of a job, man. I think it's really a mismatch. And I'm glad we haven't faced the Chiefs all year, so they don't know what to expect. They really don't. And I don't know. Said, can you discuss how our O-line can create holes for Saquon? Traps, zone traps. Easily, man. But the main thing is you have to stop Chris Jones' penetration. That's the only thing I can see that can disrupt what we're doing. Other than that, I see mismatches all over the place, man, when it comes to the running game. Now, I get it. What Spags likes to do, send those extra guys up the line. He likes to blitz to run. He does some exotic things to try to confuse what's going on. But like I said, running the RPO system is perfect against Spagnuolo, because while he's trying to confuse you, you're confusing his ass, right? Spags is great against he's great against just a traditional drop back system. But the RPO is like, right, you're trying to confuse me, but it's right back at you. Your defensive linemen are always frozen. Like, why do you think the Eagles were just destroying his defense 2 years ago? It's because that's pretty much it. You know, I don't think the O-line's gonna have any problems, man. You know, without getting all too deep about the A-gaps and all that, I don't think they're gonna have too many problems with that. People talking about you're gonna stop Saquon. You're giving up 100 yards a game on the ground. Saquon averages 140 damn near a game. I think you're going to stop him. Why? Why would I think that? You know what I mean? And then in games where Saquon was held in check to a degree, like Baltimore, for example. The first game against Baltimore, the first game against the Cleveland, and stuff like that. The passing game can get off. You know, and then like I said, it may not be that Saquon kills you in the run game. He might kill you in the passing game, the screen game. All those things are possible. And that's kind of what I see happening, man. It's kind of what I see happening. Now, what I'm going to do, man, I'm going to drop this link. I know a lot of y'all, got things to say. So I'm going to drop the link. If anybody want to come up, man, and got something to say, all you got to do is hit the link, man, and you can come through, give you 2 cents. I just want to hear it. Matter of fact, this is what y'all can do. Even if you don't even come up, just drop in the chat what's your score for the game. Y'all do that? Just drop your score. You got the Chiefs winning, Eagles winning, and what's the score? So I'm going to get my score before I roll.
I got us on 30-21.
Damn, Brian, you know you was there. You
Eagles.
rolled. All right, so I was talking a lot of shit about Kelsey and all that because he pissed me off with acting like he don't know how to pick the Eagles to win the game, nigga. But he's worshipped around here, so nobody say nothing. Hold on, what score did you just say?
30-21 Eagles.
30-21 Eagles, okay.
They maybe get 23, but no more than that. 30-21 Eagles.
I got more like a 24-17 Eagles. I think it's going to be a defensive struggle most of the game. And maybe halftime, it might be like 13-6, something ridiculous like that. I think we'll open it up in the second half and really just start, and really start scoring. I know that will be some frustrating stuff, but I think the major strength of both teams are the defenses, and I think the defense is going to kind of come to show out a bit. But Barkley will be breaking one, especially late in that game. Like it's even games where he was stopped. Like the Packers did a good job. You see how in the end he still could have broke one for 60, but then he slid down. It's like that's what it is with Barkley. Give him an inch, he takes a mile. That's what it is. So since none of y'all cooperating here, I see some of y'all here, but you ain't cooperating with the scores. We're gonna close it out. No, I ain't gonna say that. 27-17 Eagles. That's what I think. I think we win by 10. We cover the spread. MVP will be Jalen Hurts. He's gonna be the MVP of the Super Bowl. And will it quiet his doubters? Nope, because haters can't be quieted. Because their thing is now fueled off of anything substantial, fueled off of hate. And if you're hating, keep on hating, because you're going to hate us even more after Sunday. You know what I mean? All right, so with that, man, what happened?
I said no doubt MVP is Hurts or Saquon. One of the two.
Right. So, with that, I'm out, man. Now we're gonna go live again tomorrow around the same time. See what we're talking about. There's also some other things we want to talk about. Eventually, whole lot going on with this damn WNBA and all of that, and a lot of trades. And then you got NBA trades going on. Luka Doncic. It's a wild NBA. Jimmy Butler over there with Golden State. Gotta speak on that a little bit, and so on. So, until next time, man. Peace out.